Hello, everybody. I am Sirken, and it is Monday night. My dog is barking right on cue, and it is time for us to get this show on the road. I am joined this evening by the wonderful Derubael, who you all know and love. Say hello, Derubael.
What's up, everybody?
You can reach him by sending an email to
Oh,
derubael@justthetip.com. We also have a
or if you
first.
get in trouble, you'll find me on the petition form. You always forget to say that.
That's true, but I mean, there should be some surprise in life. Let them wonder what will happen. But more importantly, much more importantly than Derubael or myself, we have
Indeed.
a very special guest this evening, the wonderful P99 dev known as Kanras. Say hello, my friend.
That was quite the introduction. Thank you.
Well, we're very excited to have you with us this evening. For those of you watching and joining us, if you don't know rather, tonight we're doing a Q&A based on questions that were asked at the P99 Reddit, www.reddit.com/r/p-project1999. It's too late. I already copied the questions over, so you can't ask questions, but go there, sign up, we'll do this again, and you can ask your questions for next time. We have 26 questions, 26 of them. And we will, of course, I'll tell the player name and the guild and things. And I guess let's just get started.
Sirkin, really quick, have you spoken to Barclays?
I don't even know who that is.
Okay, you have not.
It's a bank.
It's a player who had a petition in, and they were asking for you, so I'm just gonna respond for you.
All right, well, I'll tell you also, everyone else who's listening, don't ever make petitions that are like, Sirken,
Yeah.
please send me a tell when you get a second.
Right.
Because
It does not work.
Sirken's very busy. And the best thing you can do is use those first 10 to 15 words to summarize your problem so I can see what it is without actually opening your petition. Anything that's like, please send me a tell, usually doesn't get responded to because I'm busy dealing with petitions that actually explain the problem.
Yeah, if you're sending in a petition, you gotta realize our queue, we get the first, God, I want to say we get like the first 80 characters or something. It might even be less than that.
I said 10 to 15 words. That's my guess.
Yeah, we basically get like a sentence and a half. And what we do when we're looking at the petition queue is, I think first we usually go by who's online. So if you're offline, your petition is probably going to get pushed to the back of the line. After that, we look at when they were put in. So we try to answer the ones that were put in first as opposed to the ones that just came in. And then lastly, we read the first sentence of the petition. And if you have something like need corpse, player name is blah, 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 and that's all it says, like, we can answer that petition without even having to look at it. I mean, we can literally just pull up your corpse and not even have to look at what your petition says. If you put in a petition that's like, and not to say that this is a bad thing, but put this at the end of your petition. If you put in a petition that's like, hey, I love all the work you guys do. Thanks for being a great staff. Like, you know, I wish I could do more to help you guys. Like, those are great, and we love getting those, but you got to put that at the end. If you put that at the beginning, it makes it more difficult for us to do what we need to do quickly. So yeah, that's my spiel about the petition queue.
All right, good spiel. I like it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize like what exactly petition queue is, and it's really basic. You guys got to remember this is a system that's about 15 years old at this point. So, you know, it's archaic, and it's a little bit, it should be improved, but it's probably not going to get improved anytime soon. So for right now, try to get that as much information in that first sentence as you possibly can, because that's what we're looking at.
Okay, so real quick, not guidelines, but just information you should have while listening to this Q&A. These questions have been filtering in over the last week, and I just now went to the Reddit today, probably about 2 hours ago, to jot them all down. So they have not been ran past all of the staff. The three of us that are here are seeing them for the first time today. A lot of things we're not going to be able to answer as a staff because we don't have the entire staff's opinion on them. What we're going to do is give you our opinions, and if players have asked something that we know that the staff agrees on because we've discussed it previously, then we will go ahead and say the staff's opinion is blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, you should assume we're speaking on our own opinions, what we'd like to see happen, and what we think is the right way to go about doing things. Sound good with you two? That sounds about right?
Yeah, that sounds entirely reasonable to me.
Okay.
I agree with everything that you just said.
All right. Well, then let's get started with this here shindig. The very first question, of course, can we get a Velious update? I
Yes,
mean,
It
you
just
can
got
at
pushed
any
back
time
about 6 months.
you can log
That's
into the
fast.
Velious server, the beta server, and get all the Velious updates you want.
Yeah.
that's right. Log in, look around. You'll get all the updates.
Yeah, I agree with all that. And something that I've been harping on since the beta came out, the more people who test, the more people who submit bugs, the more people who try to break things, the faster Velious will come out. So
Yeah, it's really hard for devs to actually track down bugs individually. It's incredibly time consuming.
Yeah, we need your guys' manpower to help these guys out because they just, they don't have time to go through and play through every encounter with just the small dev team that we have. We need you guys to throw 40 people at a raid encounter and tell us what's working and what's not. Because there's just no way for them to go through and find every single bug. That's why we do beta testing, because we need to crowdsource the bugs, and we need to find that stuff with your guys' help.
Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to add one more person to this here call. It's the first question. It's not too late. Let's see if we can get him in. Let's see if it doesn't break my Skype box. Aussie, are you with us?
Give me a sec.
You
Oh,
take
what's
your
up,
My
Aussie?
washing machine off.
Hey, I'll see.
He was not ready for that call.
He's got his pants down. I mean, gosh.
I'd also like to thank Token Moose, for submitting that question there. We definitely don't get enough questions about Velious, so thank you very much for submitting that one.
Yeah, and just a few more specifics, like in particular what I've been working on like the last couple of days, I basically rewrote the trap system so we can actually do the traps in Dragon Acropolis, and like some of the older school traps, like the ones in Soul A with the swinging axe blades and the
nice.
crushing blocks things, they actually can be disarmed now when you click on them.
That's awesome.
So just really grindy stuff.
Hey, you guys got me now?
Yeah, we got you now.
Awesome. What's going on?
You tell us, mister.
We're doing a Reddit Q&A. We're moving on to
Oh,
question number
Damn it,
2.
Sirken, you screwed up.
I don't
All right, question
care
number
about your thing. Question number 2. It's a group question, and everybody can answer it. It comes from Xander Locke of the A-Team. He wants to know what everybody's least favorite class is. And
Least
Derek,
favorite?
no, Aussie, we're going to start with you since you just joined us. What is your least favorite class?
Bards. I hate bards
Why do you hate bards?
because they always are courting fucking shitloads of mobs and making my life misery. There you go.
Oh, god damn it. All right, Kanras, least favorite class.
Bards.
Bards. Same
Yeah.
reasons or different reasons?
No, completely different reason. No, the code is entirely separate as far as how their spells are handled, and like everything's completely different for the way they work. So anytime something with bards needs to be changed, it's completely unique and it's a huge pain in the ass.
Okay. Derubael, least favorite.
I'm still laughing at Secret's comments in the.
Do you want to go ahead and ask that? That's a very important follow-up to what Kanras was saying.
Oh my god, secrets.
He said, "Are Catrick, myself, and Sicily included in the trap system?"
Oh man.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
welcome
I
to the
can't
stream,
believe-
Kanras.
I can't believe he even asked
Well done,
that.
secrets.
She even asked that. Oh my gosh. All right. So my least favorite. From a CSR standpoint, it is most definitely bards. Because of the kiting, because of the same reasons Aussie listed. Like, I have no problem with bards kiting. I really don't. I understand it's a part of their class and everything. And that's all A+ and fantastic and blah blah blah. My issue comes in when they just indiscriminately take up an entire zone and don't leave anything for the new guys. That's what really bothers me, is when we have a zone, and it's not too bad in the over there because that's kind of what that zone's for. But if you're a bard killing stuff in the over there, like, you can regulate your pulls to areas where nobody else is. And if you're just not a greedy bastard who wants to take every mob they can, everybody can coexist in the same place. But there are some bards who don't give a shit, and they just take everything. They take the entire zone, and they don't fucking care. And that's when I get irked, and I have to come in and, start cracking skulls and stuff. I'm sure that Aussie has been experiencing a lot of that lately, as evidenced by his response. But I would say from an actual player standpoint, my least favorite class to play is probably a warrior, because they're boring. My least favorite class overall is probably going to have to be, I want to say ranger, but I think that's kind of a low blow. So instead, we're going to go with, actually, no, we'll stick with warrior. Least favorite class.
Okay. I'm gonna say the person who asked this question, Xanderlock, he happens to be a bard.
He is a bard. This is true.
Yeah. My least favorite class is the ranger, just because every time you get something and you get excited about a new thing, you found out a druid got it 15 levels earlier, and so that's that. I have a super last minute question from Battletoad. He wants to know if the Project 1999 staff can easily see him boxing in the Kale Arena and all the other awesome stuff there is to do on the Velious beta server. Go ahead, Derubael. Can they see him boxing?
I'm rereading his question.
Well, it's in my tell window.
Oh. This is somebody asking you a question.
Yes, he literally just sent me a tell, and now I'm turning my tells off.
What was the question again?
Can the P99 staff easily see him boxing in Kale and all the other things there are to do on the Velious beta server? It's really just cheaply plugging the beta server.
We can absolutely see that you're boxing on the beta server.
But it's allowed, and we encourage you to box and play and do anything you want to do on the beta server. And when things break, let us know.
And you know what? I'll chime in here. Right now, I can see somebody 6-boxing in Tower of Frozen Shadow. So definitely, yes. Get in there.
That's what we like to see.
Hey, get it out of your system.
All right, so moving on. Uh-oh. This is from Warrior of Genocidal Tendencies, and this is a long one. Sirken, as you know, there is a great congestion and bottleneck with the high-end game right now. We are all hoping Velious helps to calm it down, being that the expansion adds so many more raid targets. Do you think the release of Velious expansion will give smaller guilds a better chance of entering the raid scene? I know that's directed at me, but I mean, I'm gonna throw it to you first, Derubael. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I think absolutely the release of Velious. Well, I mean, here's the thing: smaller guilds right now, we already opened up the playing field for them. I understand that they're only guaranteed a third of the mobs every month. But let's be honest here: before that, they were getting none of the mobs every month. So I think we've made big steps in trying to help the little guy get into the raid scene on P99. And I think that can be reflected in the amount of guilds we have downing raid targets right now. We have more guilds downing raid targets than we've ever had on this server.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there's the other FFA mobs that are kind of like stepping stones. Because when there's an FFA mob, generally speaking, TMO and IB on a repop are going to go for VP immediately. So all those FFA mobs on a repop are fair game for anybody who wants to go for them. And I think that really helps newer guilds get ready and get used to the kind of raid scene that we have here, because it is really cutthroat and it is very competitive. And if you're not sticking to just Class R mobs, you are putting yourself at risk in the sense that there may be some frustration when you lose a mob. You may screw up and you may end up training another guild because you're in such a rush. There's all kinds of things that go along with that. But at the same time, you're going to get more mobs. I mean, bottom line, if you try and compete, you try and go up against these other guilds, you're going to get a few mobs. And with Velious coming, there's going to be even more mobs for you to go after. And not every boss in Velious is a 500,000 HP monster. There are some smaller hitters like Lodi and stuff like that that these smaller guilds can take out. So yeah, I think that Velious being released will absolutely open up the raid scene even more than it already is. Despite the fact that I think we've taken huge strides in the category of the raid scene itself. Velious will definitely open things up. I just don't want to discredit the work that we've already done. Because that was work that we did. That should absolutely be credited.
Kanras, do you have an opinion on the Velious affecting the raid scene?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it adds more content, so it'll spread things out a bit. Like, I don't know if I don't know what this rotation system you guys are talking about is, but as far as like anytime Rogan does like a simulator read pop or something like that, if you add in like an entire expansion, it'll add a ton of content for you guys to explore and be able to raid.
A+. Aussie, how feel you?
A+, what they all said, ditto.
All right, well, I'll chime in and say I think so too, but I think only with current content. I don't think it's going to magically allow guilds to start killing high-end mobs in Velious. I think it will just help with the Kunark mobs.
No, you're not going to be able to jump straight into Velious. You're not going to be able to kill Tormax if you're not doing VP already, unless you have some really mobile group.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's how I'm feeling about it.
Yeah, most of it just boils down to mobility in the end, so.
Well, that's been the name of the game for 15 years.
Yep.
What else do we have? So thank you, Warrior of Genocidal Tendencies for that question. This question comes from Roarzilla of Night Who Say Knee. He wants to know, will we ever see hot zones and or will we ever get XP bonus weekends again? I can chime in and just say I'm sure that you will get XP bonus weekends again at some point, but that's really a Rogan decision. And so they're far and few between. We suggest when they are happening, you log in and take advantage of it. The hot zone thing, though, I guess I can shoot that over to Kanras. Has there ever been discussion of hot zones among the devs or anything?
Nah, it's not classic. Not happening.
Not classic. So that being said, you personally...
Also, bonus weekends and stuff, just burn them with fire. I hate them.
All right. Aussie, how do you feel about hot zones?
Not classic.
All right. Derubael, if you're still AFK, I'm just going to answer for you with the not classic comment. And I never...
I agree with that. Not classic.
You keep stuff in your face, buddy.
More importantly, though, I think that the thing about hot zones is that, number one, technically we already have them.
Yeah, I mean, there are different ZEMs and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly, zones with different ZEMs, and some of them are actually quite high.
That's true.
So you've got that, and that I think that kind of substitutes hot zones themselves. I think the other problem with hot zones is that it can potentially create a bottleneck for people in that level. And there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of people in the same zone, but it's nice for people to explore and kind of go where they want to go and not be tied to this hot zone thing. Because the minute you put in a hot zone, every person in that level range is going to be leveling in that zone. And you're going to get 100-some people in one zone, and there's not going to be any mobs for anybody, and it's going to create a ton of problems. So if we suddenly made Unrest a hot zone,
well, that's a terrible zone to make.
There would be no place. There'd be no place for anybody to level. You know, every mob in the zone would be taken up.
No, but what if you did it to a place like Befallen where nobody goes?
People go to Befallen.
Nobody goes to Befallen.
Oh man, the first group that I rolled into P99 with, we went to Befallen for like 3 nights straight.
That was classic. That was free. There's one person in Befallen, and it's a level 55. There ain't nobody in Befallen.
But here's the other thing, Sirken, is how many people do you think you can fit in Befallen before it's full?
I don't know. We fit 300 into Elfe.
No, I mean before there's no mobs to kill you, dork. Of
course
you fit.
You could probably do like 1.5 groups per floor.
Yeah, so see, that's what I'm thinking. Is you're gonna cap out around 40 people, right?
But then you have good zones like Unrest and Mistmore opening up because of the flood of people going to Befallen.
Yeah, but who the fuck wants to go to Mistmore when you're getting an extra 100% XP per kill in Unrest?
The people who don't want to sit LFG for 2 hours and Befallen.
But that's my point, is that that issue shouldn't even come up in the first place.
Well, I think it would be good if it was on zones that nobody ever went to.
Look, I won't disagree with you that maybe that would help. But I would also say that do we really need it at this point?
No, we don't need it.
Exactly.
It's just my thoughts on them.
No, I would think most of the people that are playing the server anyway would be the types that would want to explore all the original content.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I don't think most of them are just like
Well,
grind
see,
monkeys.
you say that, but I don't know if you read the tiers after some of these classic original content changes are put in.
Oh, I do, and I enjoy them profusely.
Oh man, they are upset about the color
Yeah.
con target box
Kanras,
change.
you seem
That wasn't. No, I'm gonna pull the. That wasn't me, Dev card.
you sound exactly like Nilbog. And with the their cheers are delicious when we make classic changes.
Yeah, we're a little like-minded in that regard. We're not going to go out of our way to punish you unnecessarily, but if we find a way to make things more difficult where it's too easy as is and it's classic, it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Did you remove spell sets? Was that you?
No, I don't think so. I think that was Rogan.
He's a liar.
Okay, we can still be pals.
I did remove a lot of client stuff. I'm not sure if I did that one though.
Compass and stuff like that.
Yes, I did do the compass.
That's all right. Compasses are overrated.
People were pretty upset about that, as I recall.
People
Look,
get mad.
if you can't figure out how to use a map and the lope command, I'm
sense
sorry.
heading, that's a tough one.
You don't even need to use sense heading. You can just use /lope and track your location across a map, find out exactly which direction you're heading in. We live in 2014 here, people, and even though we don't have GPS on P99, you can damn well get a map and be a fucking Boy Scout and find out where you're going.
This is all true.
Mm-hmm. I know, because I used to do it when I was a player. I never used sense heading. I leveled it up anyway. I bound it to my left and right keys so that I could level it up.
Well, you gotta max all your skills. I mean.
I used to have this folder full of printed out maps off like EQ Atlas or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I full on like dragged it back out when I started back on Project 1999.
Yeah, man. EQ Atlas and Caster's Realm were the two places I went for everything.
I remember Caster's Realm. They were so good.
I always have Caster's Realm bookmarked on the Wayback machine. I use a lot of research on there.
I used to visit. I mean, the Caster's Realm was the whole reason why I played EQ in the first place.
Why is that?
I read on Caster's Realm about, I think it was Necromancer is the first class I played. And I read about the Necromancer.
Of course it was.
I saw the picture that they had for the Necro and just its description of what they do and stuff. And I'm like, that's so cool. And it made me want to play.
Well, I like it. I personally think the Necromancer doesn't get enough love.
Mm-hmm. We know, Sirken. We know.
All right. Moving on to the next question. Can we ever tie forum accounts to in-game accounts?
Yes, we can.
We're working on that right now, actually. If I'm not mistaken.
That seems entirely reasonable.
Yeah, that is something the staff has discussed. It's something everyone thinks is a great idea. And as soon as we can get around to getting done, it will be a thing.
Isn't that a thing currently for the new accounts being created?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is.
I honestly have no idea.
They are linked. The login server accounts are linked to forum accounts. But I don't think there's any way for us to view that right now. And I know that this is something we've wanted to have in place for a long time. It just makes a lot of sense, and obviously, I think people would behave a lot more if their forum account, if you had to have a game account to post on the forums or something like that. But something that I know that we've wanted to do for a long time. It's just that it hasn't been possible with the way that the login server was working before. With all the recent login server overhauls, I think that it is actually possible now.
Yeah, that was my thought process too. Since Rogan has a little more control over the login server, he can probably tie that together whenever he gets time.
Yeah, he made a lot of changes to the login server that a lot of people don't even realize happened. That's the thing about the work that Rogan does, is that a lot of times people aren't even going to know what it was that was changed, but they're like earth-shatteringly great changes that just, we all realize what they're doing and why they're so great, but the player base doesn't necessarily realize what they're doing.
We do? Oh.
Would you go so far as to say that Rogan's doing a lot?
I would go so far as to say Rogan's doing a lot. Well, that's the thing that I don't like, is that Rogan really gets a bad rep sometimes because people don't think he cares, they don't think he's doing enough or whatever, but they don't realize like what he's actually doing is not something
They
that
don't realize how long you and I wait for him to do things for us.
Exactly.
My
Exactly.
God.
I feel so bad when people are like, "Oh, well, I'll get Rogan to do it for me." I'm like, "Good luck with that, pal. Like, you have fun."
If you have
I'll talk
Rogan's
to you
ear,
in-
I have a list of shit you can give to him for me.
Yeah, if you talk to him, here's the list of things I need you to bring up. Gosh, people.
Kanras, do you
That's
spend...
why. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you spend a lot of time perusing our forums, or are you
Not.
smart enough to avoid it?
I'm usually relegated to the bugs forums and the
I've
Velious
been-
beta forums.
I've been
Aw.
avoiding the forums lately for what it's worth. I just haven't even been reading them.
And then after every patch, I go looking through and seeing what
Mhm.
things people got really upset about.
He goes
Try
looking
to-
for
You
those
mean,
tears.
Kanras, don't you mean that you're looking through to find out if anything's broken?
Well, that I do actually mean it that
that's
way. I'm
what's
not looking for
actually
tears
happening.
actually.
Yeah.
When I find the tears, that's all right. But I'm mostly just looking for any problems that arise.
Ah, sweet, delicious tears. Feed me.
But yeah, patch days are kind of scary. I gotta say.
Downloading tears.exe.
Oh, don't be scared of patch days. All the players love patch days.
Yeah,
I
they're
know
pretty
that I love
frightening.
patch
I
days.
am.
I actually legitimately enjoy patch days.
Because you get the forum quest, or what?
A little bit of forum quest and a little bit of just I like it. I like seeing the new changes that go in and that kind of thing. There's every change we've done recently. There's always been at least a couple things that really made me just be like, "Oh yeah, that's great." Like I've been waiting for that one.
Oh, all right. I like it. I like it. Anyone else have anything to say about forums being tied to in-game counts before we move on? I don't think so.
No, I think we're solid.
All right. I'm gonna get let's see who's down here in the crypt real quick. Just some nerds doing nerdy things. All right. Well, let's move on. Swashy, that was from Swashy of BDA. He has two questions. His next question is, why aren't the forum moderators more heavy-handed with the forum bans? So I don't know if he means why don't we ban for more things, or why don't we try to IP ban people, but I'd address both of them. I'd say we don't do like IP things, and we can't permanently get rid of things because it's 2014 and every asshole on the internet knows how to change their IP address.
Yep. No, I
and-
love it when. Oh, I'll let you finish your spiel and then I'll spiel.
Yeah, and then the other one, if it's why don't we suspend for more things, it's because we don't want to censor talking. You know, it creates badness. We don't want people to
We
think
don't
we're
like
trying to
being
censor
Nazis.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And that's something that I've pushed for really fucking hard. I know that some of these guys on the CSR staff hate me for it because I'll be like, somebody will be like, that guy told me I'm a fucking dickbag. I'll be like, well, that's okay because we have freedom of speech in this server and they can say that if they want to. And I know that I've definitely, like, I'm not going to say who this person was, but we used to have someone on staff that I would butt heads with all the time because they'd be like, well, we need to ban them for this. And I'd be like, no, we're not. Like, that's not the way it's going to be. And, yeah, so we like freedom of speech. We advocate freedom of speech. For me personally, I don't really ban except for really blatant real life attacks, like really heavy-handed, below the belt kind of thing, or people disrespecting the development team, or people talking shit. People really talking shit about other people on the CSR staff. I don't really give a shit if you talk bad about me, because I just don't really fucking care. But I don't like it to see my colleagues getting bashed on by some entitled punk who got told no or something, you know? So that really irks me.
Fired.
If I see somebody else talking shit about the staff, I will absolutely ban their forum account. And I might actually go for their in-game account too, depending on how bad it is. I don't like it when people discredit the work that these guys put in because they work their asses off, and then we do it all for free.
Well,
so
I mean,
it really irks me when people talk shit about other members on the staff. That really drives me nuts, and I can't stand it.
for free if you
That
don't
being
count
said,
the
what I was
bloomin'
gonna spiel out
onions.
before was I love the people who on the forums are like, well, why don't you just IP ban them? like IP bans are this for sure thing. They're totally unavoidable. Like, there's no way to get around an IP ban. Once you're IP banned, you are done, son. You are never coming back. It does not work like that. I don't know if these people have just been living in a rock for the last 15 years, or if they just don't understand what the internet is or how internet addressing works in the first place. It's really easy to get around an IP ban. I mean, literally, it is child's play. And that's not to mention that they may already be posting from a VPN or a proxy to begin with. So we may not even be banning their home IP. We could be banning a mobile IP. And the problem with IP banning a mobile IP is that if you have a company like AT&T, those IPs get recycled. So if we ban an IP, we're not actually banning the person who posted, we're banning the next person who gets that IP, which is probably going to be somebody completely different. So IP bans are next to useless. In addition to that, banning people on the forums doesn't really affect that much. There's a couple people on the forums who really care about the forum accounts, and they really hate it when we ban them. But for the majority of people, they don't really give a shit if you ban their forum account. Like, they've got 10 posts, and oh no, now they just have to make a new account. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a thing for them. We try to keep the forums as clean as we can, except RNF is pretty much the Wild West. More or less, RNF is alarms. So if you're easily offended or if you don't like people in general, I would just stay out of RNF. But we try to keep all the other forums as clean as we possibly can, and we've actually been coming down pretty hard on that. I've definitely spoken with multiple people about what they post in server chat and that they need to clean it up and stuff like that. But, you know, forum banning people is not a permanent thing, and that includes in-game. I was arguing with a player the other day on the forums about, you know, how difficult it is to actually keep a player away from the game. And this guy was saying, oh, well, blah, 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 if this person got banned, but they're not permanently banned, like, obviously he's working with the server staff. And I was like, wow, you gotta be kidding me right now. And I got into this big argument with him, and I was like, well, this is why you're full of shit and don't know what you're talking about. And he was like, no, I know that Rogan's DLL is all-powerful, and it can take over your computer and watch your porn. And I was like, look, you obviously don't know anything. You have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you literally are just so far off the fucking deep end, you just need to stop. So
yeah, it's not Rogan watching your porn, it's me. I just have to throw that out there.
Everybody forgets. Everyone knows about the Rogan.dll. Nobody knows about the Kanras.dll that we
it's I have code in there too. Yep.
It's this little button he pushes on his desktop, and it pulls up all of your gay porn at once. Like, we know.
No,
You're in the closet, but not for
I have
us.
plenty of that from Cast already. I don't need any more.
Oh Lord. Shots fired.
Oh, god damn it.
So yeah, so eventually this player was like, he was getting bashed on by, I don't know, 12 people at this point. And finally he was like, haha, just trolling. Like, way to go, Derubael. Now you told everybody how to two-box. Like, I know which side your bread is buttered on, or some shit like that. And I was like, look, pal, like, it's not a big secret here. I didn't exactly give out, you know, nuclear war secrets here. Like, if you're not a dumbass, you'll figure out how to do things.
If you can use Google, you can figure it out.
Right. And he was just like, oh, just trolling. I'm like, you're so stupid. Like, everybody knows you're just a dumbass at this point.
So I would just add, even though RNF is like the Wild West, certain things never allowed. Don't want to see real life attacks. Don't want to see anything. Things you guys know what you can and cannot do. Respect the warning shots when we fire them.
I agree with all that.
Kanras, you have anything to throw on that fire?
Mostly just personally, like, you don't have to like ban people for bashing me. Like, it doesn't really bother me when people bash me. I actually kind of like the input. It's it's not the drinking your tears thing. It's more I like getting both sides of things. I don't want to just hear, oh, you're awesome, this was great, thanks for all your help and all that bullshit spiel.
We don't ban for criticism.
Right. And I don't hear a whole lot against you to begin with, Kanras, but I don't ban for criticism. If someone wants to say they don't like a change, or this was a mistake, or whatever, I mean, that's no problem. It's when people get on there and they're like, this dev is a fucking faggot little douchebag N-bomb and blah,
he's
blah,
a
blah.
baby raping, power tripping, faggot killing.
I don't do the devs actually get that? Because we don't have any like power to actually
every
hurt
once
people
in a while,
individually.
yeah.
See,
you do.
they think you guys have lots of power.
And
actually.
they all
we do. I just didn't think they knew how.
You do.
They think
But-
every dev is also a GM in game.
Oh, okay.
Like they think you guys all have 200 access level GM accounts,
Gotcha.
which
looking up spawn timers for all your friends and giving them
Right.
items and
I wish I had friends.
helping their
Jesus.
petitions get answered. All those fun little things that
yeah.
people tinfoil about.
And I would say that with the exception of Rogan and Nilbog, I think there may be one, and someone's gonna flame me alive. I bet Nilbog's gonna send me a PM, and be like, "You shouldn't fucking say that." But as far as I know, it's
I get
it's
those Skype
Rogan,
calls.
Rogan and Nilbog are the only devs who also have in-game access. And actually, I think there is one more, but he's a high-level developer, right up there with Rogan and Nilbog working on stuff. And he may not actually have an in-game account that has GM access. I just think that he might. But yeah, in any case,
Real
I can
valuable info you're putting out there.
I can see the
This might be a thing. This might not be a thing. I think it could be a thing, but then it could not be a thing.
Well, I can
Decide.
I can see all the accounts that have staff access.
Right,
or
jersey
has staff
numbers.
access. And I don't see. Yeah.
Good follow up.
Yeah, just keep it quiet now.
Well, no. I mean, what I said previously is still holds true. It's Rogan and Nilbog. And then there is one other dev who has a staff access account. But I don't think he hasn't logged on since a long time ago.
All right, Aussie, do you have anything for
All
that's
that I'll
more
say
about
on that is that I know that Rogan completely and utterly supports that stance as well. And I've actually heard him say before, he's like, I don't fucking ban anybody. Just let it go, the wild, wild west sort of thing. So yeah.
I think that there's definitely a line that needs to be drawn outside of RNF. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, outside of RNF, that line actually comes pretty quick. Because we don't want the public forums like server chat to be filled up with a bunch of douchebags arguing about shit that nobody cares about. That's a lot of the times the first thing people are going to click on is they're going to click on server chat and read the thread. And if all they see is a bunch of people, TMO, IB, BDA, chest, that's all they fucking see. They're not going to want to play here. They're not
Yeah,
gonna want anything
guys.
to do with us.
You know what they do want to see though?
What's that?
They want to see GMs posting pictures of glass shattering dunks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Love those.
Is it the shoes?
I think it is. All right, good answers, everybody. Next question, and thank you, Swashy from BDA, for that wonderful question. We have another BDA question. This one comes from the illustrious Cucumbers. He wants to know.
Hi, cucumbers.
Hi, Cucumbers. He wants to know if the staff has ever discussed holding more in-depth GM events for the future,
Yes.
maybe something similar to those of the past.
Yes.
Yes, and I would say yes, and Derubael would say yes, and Aussie, what say you?
I would say yes.
Kanras, has the dev team ever discussed anything with events?
No.
Do you
Not,
think the
not
dev
with me
team
there at least.
do you think the dev team would be and I mean this is kind of a loaded question because I know the answer, but for all the people in chat, do you think the dev team would be willing to assist the CSR guys with small little scripted events?
Absolutely not.
That's not the answer I was expecting, but
Okay, yeah. But yeah, we would. I mean,
it doesn't take a lot of time.
Kind of miss Uthgard in that regard because he was pretty good about writing his own little events and he could handle the scripting.
His events were wonderful. I remember the SEAL Team 6 one. I remember the Elemental one. I remember I'm missing one. Hackanon. Those were the big three that I was a part of, and I would love to see things like that. I know Nilbog has also said as well, if we give him some heads up notice and tell him what we want, he'd be willing to put some time aside to make it a thing as well. So it really just takes some time and some planning and some effort. But I think that could be a thing. I think it would be a lot of fun. Speaking of eventy type things, Kanras, would you if we did some kind of event, would you be interested in like working it with us?
Not particularly, no.
Do you ever make appearances on the Velious beta server?
No.
All right, so
No,
you.
most of the stuff that I do is purely like systems code and making sure everything's classic. So I'm not really too concerned about what's going on at a particular time on the live servers or on the beta server. If there's a bug, I'll fix it. I'm just looking for feedback mostly. I'm not actively going around and looking at things and checking out what people are doing, stuff like that. Nilbog and some of the other devs are actively like checking out what people are rating and stuff like that, but that's not really my scene.
Okay, so Cucumbers, Kanras hates you and he hates everything you do.
Pretty
Thank you
much.
for
That's what it boils down to.
thank you
I
for
will,
playing on P99.
I'll give some help on this one. I've talked to, because it's actually something I've been really interested in. Without bashing ourselves too much, our events have been kind of not as great as they should be, and a lot of that is because we don't have quest scripting.
Yeah, we don't have the access that Uthagard had when he was a GM.
And nobody will
Oh,
ever
you don't?
have
Oh, that's
access
interesting.
anymore, by the way. Uthgard
I
was
didn't
at
know that.
250 access, and he pretty much
Uthagard ruined it for
He ruined
everybody.
it for everybody. The highest anybody will ever have is 200 now, which is still really powerful. Like we can still summon NPCs and we can do stuff, but we don't have the
You
Pearl
can't
command.
just execute Pearl scripts. Yeah.
Right, exactly, which kind of limits us. But that being said, I have spoken to Nilbog about this on multiple occasions. I know that he really wants to put on an event with us. He really wants to help us with the scripting so we can actually do something really cool. It's just that he's been so busy with Velious that there just hasn't been time for it.
Yeah, that's the problem with being Nilbog is Nilbog loves doing that stuff.
Mhm.
Nilbog is also pretty much the one person who's putting in a ton of volume as far as the Velious content goes.
Yep.
And it's mostly me and Haynar doing code, but Nilbog's kind of alone as far as content goes, so he gets stretched pretty thin.
Yeah. And keep in mind, everybody on the staff has real lives too. We have jobs, we have bills, we have girlfriends and wives and friends and
Don't lie.
obligations, and
We all hang out the P99 office building and eat
I
hot
literally
pockets.
think that.
Oh, it's
some
almost time
people-
for 9 o'clock champagne, by the way, guys. You might
Oh,
wanna
right,
get
right.
on that.
We're not on the
Yes.
dev team. We get 9 o'clock hot pockets.
Right. No, we get 9 o'clock hot pockets served up with a nice tall glass of player tears, straight from the eyeball. So yeah, Nilbog's interested in doing that kind of stuff. So we're hoping to put some better events together sometime in the near future. I will say that in the interim, I'm hesitant to say this, but it's gonna have to be a thing. So I might as well put it out there.
Uh-oh.
We have to do the Enchanter Best of the Best.
Oh my god, I know.
And the thing is, something that's really getting at me is that
We're
I
supposed
really
to
want
do it in December, by the
I
way.
want to do another 2v2 tournament,
Would
like
love
really
that.
badly, because
Would
I think
love it.
those are really cool.
And fun.
And I think a lot of people have fun with those, and I really want to do another one. But I can't do it until Enchanter Best of the Best is out of the way. So.
Is that the only one that you guys haven't done yet?
Correct.
Yep. So yeah, I really want to do the 2v2 event, and I can say that sometime in the very near future, I'm going to be doing some kind of event. I don't know what yet. I want to put some thought into it. Up until recently, I've been. Nah, I won't say that. Never mind. In any case, I hope to run an event sometime in the near future.
Derubael's been experimenting with breakfast burritos, and he doesn't know exactly how he feels about it yet. Give him some time.
I was gonna say something about how my access recently got bumped, but I figure I won't give all the details on the situation. There's no reason for them to hear about
Guys, that means you can ask him to do more stuff for you. So every time you're like, I should send Sirken a tell, stop
Nope.
and remind yourself that you can send Derubael a tell.
And also keep in mind, by the way, that I will not reimburse anything unless you have a petition thread up.
And keep in mind, I will delegate as much stuff as I can to Derubael.
Yeah, you will. Well, I told Rogan that I was still going to let you do the reimbursements that don't need my help, so...
that is awfully generous and sweet of you.
I know it was. Damn, I can't do it all. I already answer all the other ban petition and all that bullshit on the forum. If you ever get banned, you'd better be nice to me, because I'm probably the one you're going to be talking to.
Well, I dealt with a shit ton of those the other day. I did
know, I
so
saw
many. I did
and
so
put in
many
some
petitions,
serious work.
Derubael.
I know, I saw. You worked your butt off the other day. And you pulled a Derubael.
There were so many.
That's usually what I do. I usually take a full day and just clear everything out, but somebody did it for me, and I was really happy. You made my day when I found out that you had already cleared all those out.
Yep.
And I see you even labeled an entire page worth of
I went through the
Derubael
entire
bans.
form and I labeled every petition in there.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
I even labeled my petitions for Eunomia before they get verified.
That's great. Are all of these Derubael reimbursements dropped items or poofed items?
Dropped items are poofed in trade, or it's some kind of
God
RMP
damn it!
ban.
Are there really 3 fucking pages of these?
Yeah, I did every ban that wasn't RMP. Any
Oh my
ban I could have
God.
looked up, I
Have fun
did.
with that, buddy.
But
Yeah, people don't realize how difficult it is to look up. If you have an item that poofs, you are somebody that I want to help more than any other reimbursement petition that we get. Because we get a lot of reimbursement petitions that are like, I dropped my Worm Slayer. How can I get it back? And it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have dropped it in the first place. But if you legitimately lose an item because it just poofs out of your inventory, like, that's not your fault. And I really want to get to you as soon as possible. And I know there's a bunch that I've been slacking on. Here's the thing, is that there is no magic poofed item button. Like, there's no way for me to just be like, for you to give me a list of items and be like, I lost my RBG and my Cloak of Flames and my Tranquil Staff. There's no way for me to just be like, well, let me just select all from poofed items where item equals Tranquil Staff. Like, it doesn't work that way. What I have to do is I have to go back and I have to verify the most recent time that you had the item. Usually I check what corpses you've looted. So if you recently looted a corpse that had your Tranquil Staff and I can verify that it was there, I start from that point and I move forward. And I have to check every item you ever dropped in that time period until now, any trade that you've made, any NPC turn-ins you've done, any drops that you've done, any deletions that you've done. I have to check your old corpses to make sure it's not on a corpse, and I have to check your inventory to make sure it's not in your inventory, as well as any merchant transactions you've done, so if you've sold it to a merchant or not. After I've verified that all of that is cool and you haven't gotten rid of the item in some other crazy fashion, then I can verify it and say it's good to go. But that whole process usually takes anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, depending on what the petition is. And I'll tell you right now, if you ever put in a petition and you're like, I lost some items, but I don't know what, there is nothing I can do for you. Absolutely nothing I can do. If you don't know what items you lost, I can't fix them. I can't bring them back, period. So if you have a petition in there for a poofed item, and you're listening to this stream right now, send me a PM and I'll try and get to it tonight.
would it help them to bump their petitions for you?
Not for me, no.
Okay. Because I know
prefer
some
that
staff
they-
it's different.
Yeah, I prefer that you don't bump your petition because number one, it's kind of annoying, and number two, I like to help the people who have been waiting the longest first. And to do that, I go to the back of the forum. So if you just bumped your petition, you're gonna get handled last.
See, I start at the front of the list.
I know you do. You're so bad though, because people.
Oh,
at the
that's the
bottom of
worst,
this-
man. Don't give people that incentive. Come on.
Mhm,
I don't
mhm.
give any shits. I start at the front of the list and I just
You're
go
such
to
a
the
bad
back.
example, Sirken.
I know, I'm a horrible
You
person.
make everybody do the wrong thing.
Aussie, I know you don't have access to the petition form, but that's one of the things I'm hammering Rogan about.
Yeah, we want you to have it.
A plus.
Don't get too excited, buddy.
It's gonna
With
take a
great
while.
power
Oh,
comes
no.
great
It's kind of
responsibility.
horrible.
Yeah, not only is it kind of horrible, but it's gonna be a while before you get it.
All right.
Once you see the petition form, you truly realize how entitled some of our players are.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like a lot of them think they're actually paying for a game. Like I really do. I get that vibe that there's some people who legitimately think that they're like paying for a service and they demand that they get treated like they're paying for a service. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this is all free. Like you didn't pay a dime. You know, we didn't sell you anything. We didn't guarantee you anything. You playing, and this is something I've talked to Nilbog about a bunch of times, and players don't like hearing this. And I get that, but the bottom line is it's true. Players don't like hearing that playing on this server is a privilege, not a right. It's a privilege that's been provided to you by Rogan and Nilbog and the rest of the people on the dev team and the CSR staff. And when you abuse that privilege, we're going to take it away. The only rights you have on P99 are the rights to not be harassed and screwed with by other players. And that's about it. And to have fun, I guess. That's another one of your rights, to be able to have fun. Sounds like somebody just took a bong rip on the phone.
With not Sirken.
It could have also
Never,
been a scratchy.
Sirken.
Could have also been a scratchy mic, but it really sounded like a bong toke. Anyway, I lost my train of thought with that bong toke. So
You sure it wasn't you that took the bong?
I don't even know. I don't even know what I was spieling about now. I'm totally distracted.
Petition forum.
Petition forum. Yes, things about the petition forum. Excellent. Moving on.
All right.
Next question.
Yeah, let's move on to the next question. Thank you, Cucumbers of BDA, for that one. This one comes from Fightan. I don't have a guild listed, so that's just Fightan.
A+.
Hi. Hi, Fightan. I recently joined a raiding guild on P99, and I've been trying to read up on all the raiding rules that exist on this server. It feels like many of these rules are really spread out over many posts, and new rules are made all the time, making it very confusing for new raiders such as myself. Are there any plans? This is a big one. It's a whole wall of text question. Are there any plans to consolidate as much of the information as possible into a single post? I know there is a FAQ, but it doesn't cover that many rules, and I feel like the confusion regarding all of the rules leads to a lot of drama in the raid community? Question mark.
I could say that I actually took the time out to put together a FAQ in raid discussion. I'm sure that's what he's talking about. But if you take that FAQ and you combine it with the raid page, you have, I'm pretty sure, a complete listing of all the rules that we have for the raid scene.
Are there actually rules that apply to all players in the raid scene? I would figure, like, if you're new to the raid scene, you wouldn't actually need to know all the rules.
Kanras.
That's just my simple pie in the sky idea.
Kanras, it's so all over the place right now. It's
all right.
It's confusing even for us. Like, when we first put out some of these rules, I know that like people were asking me in certain questions, and me and Sirken were just like, we have no idea.
I got a guild.
Take that to Rogan.
I got a guild raid suspended.
Yeah, because he didn't know the rules.
They were like, can we do this? I'm like, yep, sounds good. And Rogan comes in and raid suspends them, and I'm like, oh, Rogan, that's my bad.
I told them they could do that, yeah.
Gotcha,
Sorry.
I mean, yeah, so if you take, a lot of the rules are just common sense things, like don't train people, don't steal, don't kill steal, don't steal the people's mobs. Then there's also some extra ones that are a little more confusing, like you can only have two players on a mob tracking at once. If you have more than that, you can't engage the mob. Or the lockout system. If you're in Class R, if you're a Class R guild, you get locked out if you kill a mob that's in a Class R cycle. So if you kill Trakenon when he's on a Class R spawn, you can't kill Trakenon for 2 more Class R Trakenon spawns. But I think all of the rules are laid out in raid.php and my FAQ. If I'm missing anything, this is where we need that community help and that community involvement. If we're missing anything, if there needs to be more information, if there needs to be more things that everybody knows are rules that aren't written down anywhere, please PM me or post in the raid forums so we can get those up in a single place. But I feel like I got most of it already. So if you do notice anything, please let us know right away.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that, but I don't know if Aussie or Kanras, either of you want to throw something on that fire.
Anytime you think about doing something, ask yourself, would an asshole do this? And then decide based off of that.
See, but nobody here has any fucking sense of what's an asshole thing to do and what's not.
Ask yourself if you would do it with
I'm sure
Sirken
everybody on P99
That's
knows an asshole.
That's a better one. Ask yourself if you would do it when there's a GM standing next to you.
All I'll say is go play on Red, because they just fucking kill each other.
Mm-hmm.
Conflict resolution is pretty easily over there.
Or go play on Red, because it's amazing.
And we also have another raiding class with many less restrictions.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's options.
Well, you can go into Class C, and then you're pretty much allowed to do whatever the hell you want, except kill Class R targets.
or you have red 99. You've got options. That's the point.
Yep. I think anybody who's rating right now in any class who doesn't feel like they're getting enough should time travel back to a year ago and see how they feel in comparison. Yeah.
That's gonna piss people off. Oh, all right. So moving on, what happened? And thank you, Fightan, for your wonderful long question. Cucumbers again. He wants to know what happened to the earthquake repops, and are those gonna come back?
We just had one, you dork. We just had one like 3 days ago.
All right. To be fair, people have been sending in
I
questions
know,
for 7
I know.
days,
It's been
so it
gone.
might have been before.
Well, not only that, but we hadn't had a repop in like 2 months before that, so.
What else do we have? What about, it's not really a big question. Yes, the answer is yes. Moving on. I
What was
saw
the question? Oh, Cucumber's question. Gotcha.
cucumbers, earthquake repops. Moving on, Swashy BDA. I saw a question of 2 separate servers, or a suggestion of 2 separate servers, one for competitive, one for rotation. Blah blah blah. Would this be hard to implement, and why not do it to save the rest of the population from Alardi and Tiggles and the rest of TMO?
Wait, what?
That's very specific.
I zoned out
Yeah.
for that whole question until I heard "keep it away from Alardi and Tiggles and the rest
Yes,
of the."
that's why I had to finish the question. It's very specific.
First of all, let me just say that Alardi and Tiggles are hardly even a part of TMO anymore. They're not even like a thing.
I don't even think they play.
Oh, I see this question. I saw just 2 separate servers, one for competitive and one for not gonna happen. Not ever going
Never
to happen.
gonna happen.
Here's
There
the
won't
thing,
be
you
2
guys.
blue servers.
If you guys can't even learn how to play nice on one server, why the hell would we make 2?
And
You know
why
what I mean?
don't you think the current top guilds would go to those new servers and do the same thing?
Exactly.
It's not like they're gonna run out of time.
And here's the thing: is that opening up a new server is an enormous investment of resources and time. And I know that a lot of people think, "Oh, well, you know, you just throw up a server and it's all good." Like, no, when you have 500 people connecting to a box and they're all playing on this giant open world, you actually need to have hardware to run that. You need to have a connection that has enough bandwidth to handle that. There's a lot of boxes out there who will never go above 100 players because they just don't have the infrastructure to do it. And it's just a fact. And if you go and you try and play on other emulated servers, like Emerald Dream over on World of Warcraft Vanilla, that server crashes every 2 hours because they don't have stable enough hardware to support what they're supporting. And we don't want that to happen. So if we were going to open a new server, we'd have to do it right, and we'd have to put enough, hardware there and enough infrastructure to make sure that it doesn't just bork every time we'll try to use it. In addition to that, we feel, and Sirken, I'm going to speak for you because I know this is what you think too.
Go for it.
We feel there's no reason why a bunch of adults, there are no kids leading guilds on P99 right now. There's nobody under the age of like 25 running a guild.
That's not classic at all.
No, but they're acting classic, Kanras. That's the thing. A lot of people are acting like they're still 14 years old.
Oh, okay. No, we're all right.
Absolutely. It drives me crazy, and I don't understand. I mean, people, you can't come running to me and Sirken every time something happens. We just can't do it, period, the end. There is too much going on in the server, and we have too much going on in our real lives to hold everybody's hand. And we don't feel like there's any reason why you guys shouldn't be able to work out your own shit without our help. There's no reason that Guild Leader A should not be able to go to Guild Leader B and say, yo, we trained you, it's our bad, let's make up for it, you take the next mob. Or you take the next 2 mobs. Or let's help your cleric get his epic. There's so many options here. I was just talking to Arg of A-Team the other day, and we were talking about just how many options you have.
Wait. You were talking to players?
Yeah, I know.
That's favoritism. That's straight up favoritism.
Oh.
I mean, here's the thing: is that you can go to the other guild when they train you, and you can ask them for all of their, you can ask them to help you with their epic, or you can ask them to buy you guys a new set of peen guards. It doesn't matter. There's just so many options you have.
Yep.
There's so many options that you have in the raid scene right now to take the raid scene by the balls and do whatever the hell you want with it. And that's why it's really frustrating for me as a CSR for you to come to me and go, we need you to make this call, but we're not able to make it on our own. Like, we can't figure it out, so you figure it out for us. There's no reason why you guys shouldn't be able to do it on your own. There really isn't.
I
People
can
just,
tell you why. I can tell you exactly why they do it.
it's because TMO is fucking evil.
It's
right?
no. I can give you a
Yeah,
legitimate. I can give you a legitimate answer for why they do it, and it's because they're worried that if whatever they agree to will be like they'll be giving up more than maybe what the staff would weigh in. It's like choosing to go to trial by jury instead of just having a settlement because you think you might get more from the jury. That's
yeah,
basically the
I
mentality.
completely agree with you, and I think people are gonna fucking learn really quick that shit's not gonna fly. I mean, I know we haven't done it yet, but I will tell you right now, and anybody who's in a guild who's raiding right now that's listening, heed my words, please, because we will not hesitate to do this, and we absolutely have permission to do it. If people can't figure this out on their own, we're just gonna start suspending guilds, like both guilds involved in the dispute.
Thank the Lord.
Just
For not
PvP
being
flag 'em.
able- For not being able to figure it out on their own, and people are gonna kick and scream and complain, and we don't care, because frankly, it's just gotten too much, you guys, and we just can't handle it. There's literally too much for us to do to have to babysit you guys. So we're just gonna start, like I said, taking people out.
Taking
I agree
people out.
100%.
Yeah, and
yourselves, otherwise both parties suspended.
you know, and both parties suspended. And like I said, that is something we absolutely can do.
We can do a lot of things that we don't do because we don't power trip and we don't
Right.
like banning people.
Yes, and oh my gosh, and it drives me nuts
I
every time.
laugh when I read like you don't have the authority to do that. It's like, you have
Hmm?
no idea what I can do.
You have absolutely no idea. No idea.
Like, I can make an
And-
example out of you that people will talk about for the next year and a half. Nerds.
Yeah, I
They
mean, that's
say
the
you
thing.
guys
Is
don't
that,
power trip.
yeah, there's a lot of people who say, oh, they're power tripping and blah, blah, blah. Like, the honest truth is, we let a lot of shit slide. I mean, we really do. And we do it in the interest of trying to get people to learn from their mistakes. And sometimes they just don't. But I like to think that most of the time they do. And that's why we're so lenient with people most of the time. Is that we really truly believe that these people can come around and act like real decent human beings, or maybe they just screwed up one time or something like that. So that's why we're not all about banning people and suspending people. It's not something we enjoy doing at all. In fact, we hate it. And anybody who is friends with me, like actually friends with me, knows that I don't like banning people. It's not something I enjoy doing at all. And yeah, so I really wish these guys would just figure it out, learn how to handle disputes on their own, because the next step is going to be just literally suspending everybody who can't figure it out. And if you're listening right now and you're not a guild leader but you're in a raid guild, please relay that message to your guild leaders, because if they can't figure it out, that is the next option. And we absolutely can do it, and you are absolutely not going to be able to go to Rogan and say, they banned us for this. Like, that's not gonna fly. He's just not gonna say. He's gonna ignore you completely. He's in agreement. He's in agreement with us. He's tired of his GMs getting overworked, having to deal with 9 hours of raid dispute petitions, when that time could be better spent on much more important things. The raid community, as I've stated before, last time I checked, is 21% of the server, and that's 7% Class C, 14% Class R. So basically, you guys are just 1/5 of what we deal with. And you're no more important than the level 5 scrub who fucking had his corpse robbed, or
I'm
the
not
guy,
even sure who you just fired shots at with that comment.
or the
The
guy.
scrub or the raider.
Everybody knows that when I say scrub, it means I love you.
Did I break your train?
No, hang on, he's gonna tell us somebody. Somebody sent in a petition against somebody else, and they were like, this person's training, and the person they accused of training is sending in a petition saying that they got trained.
That's wonderful. Kanras, Aussie, do you guys have thoughts on the
I would just throw out there that yeah, opening another server with the same content's never going to happen because fragmenting the player base is a horrible idea. Otherwise, I would just, if I had any power whatsoever, I'd just flip PvP flags on the guilds and make them just fight it out.
We've
But
definitely thought of that.
I know it's happened before, again with the Uthgard powers, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, if we could, I mean, if we could just flip a guild PvP flag on for the whole guild, trust me, that would be a thing. That would happen. Class C would get a lot more interesting. There would be no classes. I would just have everybody settle everything with PvP.
Yeah, that's the one thing I actually like EverQuest PvP for is conflict resolution. I mean, for the most part, EverQuest PvP is just huge mountains of garbage. It's a terrible PvP game, but for conflict resolution, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with that. EverQuest was not made for PvP at all. But being that it's an open world and the unique rule set behind the PvP with the free for all, it creates a really unique environment on the PvP server that's just not, you can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that includes other games too. You can't get the same PvP environment you get in EQ in any other game out there.
A plus. Aussie, any thoughts?
No way in hell there will be another blue server. And yeah, look, I completely and utterly agree with what Derubael said. And I think that what currently happens with raid disputes shouldn't happen, and that basically if they can't sort it out themselves, then both parties should be raid suspended. I think it's just, as Derubael said, we're all adults here. We need to start acting like it. And look, some of them have been recently. There's been some real gains made in that regard, but there's still some really shitty things going on too. So, everybody could definitely pick up the ball a little bit.
I think we need to have some kind of P99 gathering, like where we all meet in person so we can actually put faces to these names and actually like think about that person when we're spewing all this hateful garbage at each other.
Kanras, it's funny you mentioned that. We have a person in chat here named Sectors who is actually, I believe, was trying to get an Atlantic City P99 gathering.
Well, I mean, if you want to have a meeting of garbage, you might as well put it among garbage. So that seems like a good enough place.
It fits.
Yeah.
It's environmentally acceptable.
Yes, everything comes together perfectly.
So I don't know though, because the red server would be involved, because Sectors plays on red, and that's when things get interesting, is when you have your IBs and your TMOs fighting, and then your smaller raiders hating on them, but then R99 comes and just shits on everything.
I'm sure they're just a bunch of puppy dogs.
Oh, they're horrible. If they're puppy dogs, they're horrible. They're like inbred, retarded, horrible puppies.
Yeah, anonymity does things to people.
Name tags. We need name tags. We'd be good with name tags. All right, next question from Swashia BDA, because he asked like 4 in a row.
Man, this guy is greedy as all hell.
Recently there was a guild who was allowed to take members from a Class C guild to allow them to break into the Class R raid scene. Isn't this decision by your GM staff one that ruins the integrity of the class system? Why are you letting members cross boundaries, and even if they keep to the "we won't loot anything, we're here to help," how do you even force that, and why allow it at all? Swashy BDA. I have a feeling. Hold on one second. Hold on. Time out. Because this is directed at something I said specifically. And what happened was some C members their alts joined a Class R guild, or a guild that was trying to get into Class R, and they didn't want any loots. They weren't guild hopping around. They were legit going to leave their alts in that guild. When that happens, they're members of that guild. To say people who have mains in Guild A aren't allowed to put their alts in a different guild is ridiculous. Some of these guilds have policies that say if we're raiding and you're online, you have to raid. And if you don't feel like raiding, it's helpful to have a character in another guild so you still have people to play with. As long as the pixels aren't going to that Class C guild, and as long as the characters are staying in that Class R guild, there's no foul being committed. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. So Derubael, if you whatever you wanted to say, jump right in.
Yeah, 1 second.
You take your 1 second. I'm gonna go to Aussie. Do you have anything?
No, mate. What you said is all good. A+. GM decision is final. That's the only other thing I'll say.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. While Derubael gets his life together, when a GM says something, that's it. And if you don't like it, you don't argue with the GM. You go to the petition form and you explain why you think it was the wrong decision. And then we will read it and we'll think about it. And if we were wrong, we'll say we were wrong and we'll do something else. But don't argue with us. That's the absolute worst thing you can do to help your case out. That's the end of my spiel.
So what I was gonna say is,
Sorry,
I
that one hit me on a
wanted-
personal level.
I
got
wanted
angry.
to shout this out when you read that fucking quote or that question, because before any of this fucking happened, before anything was finalized, while we were still doing the talks, in fact, before we had even done the talks, I said multiple times on the forums, I am not going to fucking police alts in other guilds. I am not going to do it. People do not realize what kind of colossal effort is actually involved in that. I can't even run a query to do that. I'd have to break it up into 500 individual queries to find out who is who and why they're there and this and that. It is not easy to track a guild of 200 fucking people to find out if they have alts in another guild. I'm sorry, it's a complete fucking waste of CSR time, and it's not something I'm going to do. If someone wants to talk Rogan or Nilbog into doing that, great. You go for it. Good luck with that. But just the amount of effort that goes into that, there is no fucking way. There's
Maybe
just no
the guild leaders shouldn't just take everybody that has a pulse.
Yeah.
I don't know, screen your members or something.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is I'm not gonna go around, I'm not gonna police alts, period, the end. I'm just not gonna do it. I think what Sirken said, as long as they're not getting loot, isn't that what you said, Sirken? As long as they're not getting loot, we don't care.
Yeah, as long as
Something
they're not
along those
trying to
lines.
funnel Class R loot
Yeah, that's
into
what he
Class
said.
C.
Yeah. So then I'm all good with that then. Because it's just not something I'm not going to police that, period, the end. I'm just not. Like, people don't realize that it's not like I just enter somebody's account name and suddenly I get all of the names of their alts. Like, it doesn't work that way. Sometimes.
Oh, don't lie. Derubael, you can just do a who all alt.
Yes, I forgot. There's a who all alt command. I go into the database and I type select star from alt table, and then all the alts in the game pop up in a table with their associated main character listed next to them. Maybe sometimes we're gonna get lucky and the person's gonna have an alt on the same account as their main, and we'll be able to see, oh, this person's in BDA, this person's in Taken. But 99% of the time, that's not gonna happen. And like Sirken was saying, we're not gonna stop people from joining fucking guilds. It's just the logistics behind this are just outrageous, and it's not something that's worth our time to do. So that's my spiel. That's how I feel about it. And the fact is that if we were going to police this, it would fall on me, and I do not have the time to do this. I just don't. I'm already swamped. I think everybody on the CSR staff already knows that I'm busy with real life recently, and I barely have enough time to do the stuff that I'm doing now. And it's not going to happen. It's just not. There's no way for me to police that. There's just not. I mean, guild leaders should be more careful about who they accept into their guilds if they're really worried about that. But I suspect that they're probably not worried about it, and they're just accepting whoever they can because they want to fuck somebody over who's in TMO. There's a ton of animosity towards that guild, and I think
Guild
that everybody
A.
needs to just learn how to let the past be the past.
Whoa, I
and
said Guild A, buddy. Guild
do
A.
new stuff. Do new stuff. Okay, there's just so much. Everybody needs to just suck it up and be nice to each other.
All right. Anyone else? Kanras, Aussie?
No.
I don't know if we hit you guys with that one.
I'm all good.
All right. Well, we're moving right along. This one, we're gonna give this one to everybody. Again from Swashia BDA. Do you consider yourself an impartial GM? If so, how do you keep yourself an impartial GM? And what makes you a better GM than, say, Amalinda and Uthgard? And I'm just going
Hate
to jump right
everybody
in
equally.
because this was my favorite question that anyone asked right here. And I'm just going to say I'm better than them because I never gave anything to Tiggles and I've never accepted bribes. And the
Did they do
impartial,
that?
they've done those things.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And yeah, that is, I feel safe saying that is public knowledge at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
Amalinda is definitely a public knowledge thing.
And as far as I don't know, like I've straight up told people that like I could be bought if you come to me with 5 figures, you can buy my integrity just straight away. And I've told Rogan this as well. That's my price.
Really, 5 figures?
5 figures,
Damn.
and you got
It's
me.
cheap.
I've been offered less, and I feel that's an insult to my integrity. But yeah, that's where I stand. So I consider myself impartial, and I keep myself impartial because no one's offered me 5 figures. Kanras, how do you keep yourself impartial, and do you think you are?
Well, I don't have to be, so it doesn't really matter.
All right.
I have no power whatsoever. I just write the code that does things, and that doesn't really pick and choose. I will tell you this: there is no checks for names in the code. It's not like if not string compare name to Tiggles. There is none of that in the code, so you guys are safe.
If TMO is Slaying Dragon, add
Yes,
more loots.
if guild name equals TMO, add extra secret buff. No, there's none of that in there.
Oh, all right. As long as you're sure that that's not a thing.
Well, I'm kind of a performance junkie, and that sounds like a terrible fucking way to write something.
All
So
right. Box integrity saved. Thank you, Canvas. Oh, what about you, Aussie? Are you an impartial staff member?
I hate everybody equally, so yeah.
And is that your
A
secret?
plus.
Is that how you stay impartial? You just keep the hate on an equal footing?
That's it. Yeah.
And Derubael, are you
Um,
impartial?
Extremely impartial. I'm probably next to Nilbog, one of the most impartial people on the staff. And I will say that I do that by. I mean, the sarcastic answer is that I hate everybody equally, right? But like, that's not true at all. I don't hate everybody equally. I like everybody equally, and the way that I stay impartial is just by entering every situation and looking at it from all angles. I think that's really the only thing that matters. If you can come into a situation and you can see it from everybody's side, you're going to be able to ascertain the truth and decide what needs to be done. So,
Oh man, I just messed everything up.
yeah.
All right. All right. And how or why are you better than Amalinda or Uthgard? And Uthgard, sorry.
How am I not better than him, Belinda? Well, look, I can't comment on Uthgard. I got into a shouting match, not a shouting match, but I got into a battle with him on the forums the other day about this, where he was trying to throw his EP on the table. And the
Is he
problem with
posting still?
yeah, he was posting the other day.
Jesus.
He comes back like once a year and stirs the pot.
Oh, okay.
The problem with me trying to do an EP measuring contest with Uthgard is that I'm still on the staff and I can't talk about 99% of my accomplishments. Like 90% of the work that I do on P99, I can't tell anybody about except Sirken and Rogan and Nilbog.
You're
And-
kind of like Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely always doing secret things. So there's no way that I could. I think Uthgard had said something like, "Well, we brought down the first platinum website, first RMT website." And I just wanted to be like, dude, that doesn't even like fucking compare to the shit that I've been pulling on. But anyway, it's not about measuring EP, so I don't know about Uthgard. Maybe he was a fantastic GM. I have no idea. I can say that I know for a fact I'm better than Amalinda because I don't take bribes. So.
Because you don't say what?
I don't take bribes.
Oh yeah, that's a
So-
big thing.
It kind of automatically elevates me above her, I think.
Hmm. I'll say the one thing that was really great about Uthgard was his events. His events were amazing.
Yeah, right.
I miss those. I wish we
Yeah,
still had those.
he put a lot of time into those, and I'm not, I can't speak to him as a GM, but him as a dev, like I miss having him as a dev. Like he was a beast when it came to Kunark. I had to do this most recent spells revamp for Velious, and sweet Jesus, that was a lot of work. And the fact that he took the original garbage spell data that was like years in the future, all over the place, and converted it almost like 95% to Kunark was just incredible. The amount of work that took. So
That was actually something
I can't bash him at all as a dev.
Yeah, that was something I forgot to mention, is that Uthgard did put in a ridiculous amount of work with fixing quests, and I know that he did a ton of work on the spells file because I had been asked about that at one point. So I know
just an enormous volume of work. Like you can't even fathom really how much work that is.
And he spent 18 hours a day, and yeah, the spells file
for
all
weeks,
by itself.
really.
The spells file all by itself is enough, because that thing is just a fucking mess to begin with. I mean, it's basically all in hex, right? Maybe it's not.
I mean,
hex.
no, it's all in the sequel, but and we have a
That's
executable
right, it goes in-
that reads the old SP DATs, so we have a way to visually understand like what's going on with the old ones, and we can compare it to the sequel. But I don't think he had a way to go between the two, and I certainly don't.
I think he actually made the way to go between the two.
Oh, did he?
He
that would
made
have been handy to have.
Yeah, he made the program that would translate it all for him. Because when I was initially talking about this to Roga and Nobog, they had mentioned something like that. So yeah, I'm not gonna knock Uthgard. I know he put a ton of fucking work into the server. So I got nothing bad to say about him. Amalda, I can say, was taking bribes, and I've heard a bunch of other stuff too that just makes me not her biggest fan, I would say.
Have you tried her marshmallows?
No. But goddamn, I always make a joke about that when people are like, Derubael's and Melinda. I'm like, wanna buy some marshmallows?
I know. Alright, let's go. This is the last one from Swashi, I think. And Derubael, you're probably gonna love this one. How is keeping evidence of wrongdoing private good for the health of the server? If you have proof, why don't you honestly name and shame the accounts that get banned for RMT? This isn't SOE, and you have no obligation to keep RMT information private. Yet, you do anyway. Why?
I can tell you right off the bat, biggest, most important thing is if I were to post my evidence about RMT, the people who I'm tracking for RMT would know that I can track them for RMT. Like, they would know exactly what it is I'm looking at to find out who they are and what they're doing, and I do not want that to happen. Despite what people think, it's actually it's incredibly difficult to find RMTers, particularly the big ones, because they're not stupid and they put a lot of effort into hiding their activity. So once I find one of them, I don't want them to catch any wind that I know who they are and what they're doing and how they're operating. And I don't want them to even know how I'm finding that. So that's part of the reason why RMT evidence is not released. The other part of that is that we just straight up don't release information on players' accounts. We're not really allowed to tell people if an account is banned or suspended unless that person gives that information out first. So, yeah, I mean, that's the other big part of it, is that we're just not allowed to talk about accounts at all. So, and I'm going to give a shout out to actually one of my real life friends who's watching right now. I'm not going to say his name so people don't harass him, but thanks for watching, buddy.
Oh, A+.
That definitely deserves an A+.
Kanras, do you have any thoughts on the keeping information of banned people private?
Nah, that's above my pay grade.
What about you, Aussie? Do you have any thoughts on that?
If it's above Kanras's pay grade, it's definitely above my pay grade.
Oh, good answers. All right. Well, that was a quick one then. It's good, because we're only on 15 of 26, unless I numbered these wrong, but I'm a pretty good counter, so we'll see. This next question comes from Cessordrix of BDA. He asks, are there any talks about what will happen with the server once Velious content and all pre-Lucklin patches are implemented? Custom content, server resets with proper timeline, limited or full Lucklin? Just curious. I guess Kanras.
Yeah, I'll fire into that one. I'll just explain that most of the reason I actually do work on this server is because I want to have like a full timeline that you can get through. So in my perfect world, there would be like once we had everything perfectly worked out, all the items were corrected at each individual part of the timeline, we would just have a reset server and you could just play through it and we could change the rules as the time went on. But that's obviously not like a Rogan or Nobog sponsored thing. That's just why I actually do the work. And since I have access to the code, I could make that happen if I wanted to, and it didn't happen publicly. So, Lukeland, I will never touch in my life. I will do absolutely nothing on Lukeland, because that is just a huge pile of garbage and not worth my time. Uh,
Praise.
and custom content, I know some of the other devs are interested in, and every time like we add a new feature or stuff, they kind of throw little mentions in there about how this would work with some of the custom stuff, and can we add this and other little features. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as I'm concerned, there's a patch I think in like October of 2001 that has some huge adjustments to like skill caps and adds double attacks to all different kinds of classes and stuff, and just basically revamps like the entire combat system. That patch would never exist, and anything after it, as far as I'm concerned, would never exist on the server. But except for the Chardock revamp. I love the Chardock. The Chardock revamp is awesome. I would definitely put time into that, but that's about it.
A+ answers. What about you, Aussie? How do you feel about Luckland?
Oh, that's a tough one. I really liked the raiding scene that Luckland bought, but like I really dislike the ports, the Nexus, the Bazaar. But yeah, look, the raiding scene I think was really really awesome. So I think you've even mentioned this a couple of times. Like have like some way to get to Vex Thal without all the rest of the Luckland zones incorporated would be awesome.
Well, that's because I'm biased and selfish and only think about myself, and I never got to raid that zone. So I'd like to see it. I know Derubael's AFK right now, so we're not going to go to him. One thing I think would be really cool that I have said multiple times, kind of in line with what you're just saying, is just skip Luckland completely, because I agree with Kanras. The whole thing is just a fucking nightmare. But skip Luckland completely, and then if you want to give these people a real challenge, just start secretly connecting certain planes of power zones, like attach the plane of fire to Soul B somewhere, and
Yeah,
then take it away, and attach the plane of disease to fear somewhere, and then take it away, and put water and Kedge, and just mix it up a little bit, and
yeah.
then there's
Just
limited
to
time
address
rate.
that and something Heartbrand said. Yeah, Plains of Power is not a bad expansion. Like I rated
I
in
love
Plains of
planes of
Power.
power.
I quit during Lukeland. I think Lost Nudges of Norath was somewhere in the middle there. That thing was just a waste of time, just grinding for absolutely no purpose. But Plains of Power was a good expansion.
Whoa, no purpose. You mean you didn't appreciate your adventure points?
Oh, the
No.
leaderboard, man. Hey, hey, that's all about the numbers, pal.
Oh
Ah,
man. But yeah, the Plains of Power was pretty good, and
yeah.
yeah,
Get rid of
chart.
knowledge, get rid of tranquility, and have these kids go raiding straight from Velious to the plains. Oh my God.
Yeah, take growth, put it into Thunder. Yeah, that'd be good times.
You could do a lot of things. During during Luckland, I hated Luckland so much. Me and my real life buddy, we took our guild. We tried to be this stupid PK guild with our alts, and then we decided to turn that into a real guild that would just go through the classic content and start over. And so we got players that were new to the server, and we started, doing Finny and Kedge and Fear Trash and Hate Trash, and just bringing them through the progression until end of Velious. And then Planes of Power came out, and I got to play for real again. Derubael, I'm assuming still AFK.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody likes Mooncats.
No, cats are stupid. The updated models are stupid.
Oh god, they were horrible.
The neck
Oh,
fidget
man,
are stupid.
I played-
Horses are stupid.
I played a Troll Shadow Knight, and God, that troll model, the new one, was so bad.
I really like the classic troll model.
Yeah, the classic troll is awesome. He would just scratch his butt every once in a while. He got the boogers hanging out of his nose and his ears. It was great.
They're big and retarded looking. Like, I don't know. I love them. I like the EQ graphics. Like, I know they could be like crisper, but I like the design of everything. Like, if they would have just taken the designs and kept those the same, they didn't have to redesign the way things looked. Because they did the same thing with ogres. They tried to make ogres like taller and skinnier almost. And
Yeah, it's like, okay, we can have more polygons, so now we have to adjust everything to actually use them. And no, you don't.
ogres were comical. Like, I remember,
Yeah.
I loved ogres. Um,
Especially, oh man, their dying animation is just the best. That's my favorite thing in the world is seeing an ogre feign death or die. It just kills me every time.
do you know offhand what the race number for ogre is?
I think it's 10.
You're right. I'm gonna feign death as an ogre just for you on my stream. You should see it in about 30 seconds.
I appreciate it.
A plus. I'm running around with the Bard 2.0 and the Rogue 2.0. Cause that's how I do it, and I'm a warrior. So yeah, everyone else is gone. Me and you have a little of alone time here. So you're saying that after, because I agree with you, I would love when everything is perfect and it can just be, unlocked on a time thing and doesn't require any work. I would love to see another run through from Classic through End of Velious with everything on time firing off. But after we hit the end of Velious, you wouldn't be completely against the little Planes of Power zones here and there, maybe?
Oh,
That's the
I mean,
thing?
I would be against it for sure, just because
damn.
I wouldn't want to put any more time into it. But I wanna finish this Velious thing, get everything through October 2001 in there, then play through it all in one fell swoop, because I think it'll be a lot better than what we currently have. Because when you have these huge time blocks where people are stuck with the same content for like 2 years, and I know this is largely my fault, when you get stuck with the same content for 2 years, it just kind of bears down on people. And I think that's why you get a lot of the raid disputes, is because they've just been stuck here and cycling through people, not actually getting anywhere in particular. So
Yeah.
if you could do it all at once in the 2.5 years that it would take, it would be just a fantastic experience, I think, for everybody.
Shit, at that point, I'll just quit and play because it will be
Oh, exactly. I mean,
fantastic.
that's my goal, is to get it to that point where I could just everything would get patched properly over time, and we could just flip the rules, which are really easy to do. Wouldn't have to actually take down the server at any point. Everything would just update as it ran. It would be a beautiful thing.
Tell Rogan to make me a guide so I can play again. No way, I can still hang out.
You
with
can
my
dream.
pals.
You can dream,
You're
buddy.
stuck for life, buddy. We're never letting you become a guide.
I can do whatever. I'll suspend myself.
Me and you
Strike.
are gonna have some words if you ever suspend yourself.
I can strike. I'm an
Strike.
American.
Strike until they let us play on red. Yep. Yep.
All right.
Gosh.
Well, Kanras, do you need an AFK for anything?
Not in particular, no. I wish I had some alcohol right now. I should be getting drunk doing this. Be a lot more fun.
Here's our options. We can take a quick 5-minute break, or we can just plow through the next 10 questions.
I'm good either way, man.
Let's just plow.
All right, let's plow.
Let's plow some babies.
Oh,
wait.
shit. That's not the right thing
That's
to
not a
say.
thing.
Nope.
Let's plow some women. Wait.
That's
Let's
better.
plow some questions. Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what
Hmm.
I'm trying to say.